Three stars of the week.
All right, you
Let's
kick
do
things
it.
off because you actually went first, and I was shocked to be honest that you didn't have some of the guys I put up. So I'll let you go.
Yeah. I kind of I when we recorded last week, I know we kind of said it was a bit of a weird week when no one really stood out,
Yeah,
but there was a couple candidates that were pretty good, but nothing like, special or elite that we had to talk about. I think a lot of things have changed in that
yeah,
short period of time. I think there's some people who've really had some big games against some big teams at the right time. So to lead it off, um, last week I also had a bit of a Leaf flavor. I do this week, but going to my goalie category, Peter Mrazek in Carolina. I know that I originally thought maybe he would be dealt just because I felt like Nedeljkovic had maybe taken the net. But after seeing his last two games, he's only given up 1 goals against, almost a 970 save percentage, 969 to be exact. I think this is massive for in the division. You already see Florida with all the injuries making some moves today, challenging Tampa Bay for the top spot. Carolina is injured as well, and they're right there as well. So the three of those teams are going to be huge down the
yeah,
stretch.
and
It's
I
going to be fun
think
to watch them.
of those three teams, it's important for one to be the first place team. Otherwise, the second, third, you're going to be playing each other the first round. So
Mhm.
that
That's
getting
true.
that first place is a big deal in this division. I think.
I think especially for Tampa, because Tampa's what I've talked about before. When you take a star player and put him and everyone takes a peg down, has to almost fill a new role on the fly.
Yeah,
Um, Tampa Bay, if they have to face Carolina or Florida in round one with Kucherov coming back and having to feel that out, I all of a sudden don't think they're not necessarily maybe not the favorite, but I don't think they're this like monster. I think that it's an even matchup and
yeah,
it's really anyone's game at that point, and that's a lot scarier than facing whoever could probably be fourth, whether it's that's the Dallas, Nashville, Columbus, right?
yeah. Right now it's
So
Nashville, but it could go anyway.
any of those are not as I mean Dallas if they get healthy and get hot maybe isn't well they're probably the least the opponent you want to face least at that point
Yeah,
if they're healthy and hot, but
yeah,
I don't know. You want that number one spot for sure. Then I get to my Leaf flavor. To be honest, I couldn't pick between the two. They're kind of co-stars, but at the same time, I had to go goalie for first star. So
yeah.
there's a second reason behind that, which I'll get to in a second. But second star would be Austin Matthews. He has 6 goals in his last seven. Or sorry, he has a goal in 6 of his last 7 games. So all but one in the last 7 he has scored a goal. One of them he scored two. So he has 7 goals in 7 games, and 2 of them are game winners. As usual, he's amongst the leaders in shots on goal. On top of that, there's been some conversation with credible people who have either held votes in the past or who are known to have relationships with people who do have votes for some of the awards, are talking about potential Selkie nominations for Matthews
Wow.
for defensive forward.
Yep.
I think there's a bit of an issue with penalties. He still takes a little bit too many penalties to probably actually ever be considered that, at least for this year. If he cuts those down moving forward, sure. But watching him on a day to day basis or night to night, game to game basis, like his ability to go from, oh crap, I just lost the puck, oh wait, no, I got it back again, is incredible. Like it's almost like he's got a magnet or some sort of sorcerer's power sometimes when he's on the ice. Like he knows where the puck's going and it just like sticks to his stick. He's always in the right place, which that's what stars do. That's what the best players do, right? Um,
Yeah, I'm
but
a
I
little.
think
I haven't
he's
watched him as much as I used to last year when I owned him as fantasy. But when I
yeah.
do watch him, he's always doing some sort of play, or the way he handles the puck is just the little things that keep the puck on his stick are pretty
Mhm.
incredible. Yeah,
And the thing with him that I think people don't remember is that, and I think that people have to put into perspective specifically with Matthews, is Matthews basically took a route to the NHL that no one to my knowledge, or not that I can think of top of my head, took. Like he was a North American kid who went to Switzerland to play pro hockey because he was too good for anything he could find in North America. He had to go play with men, and because he did this, he went over and he played power play. He played 5-on-5. He started in the offensive zone. He didn't kill penalties. He didn't take faceoffs. He played on the wing. So like he was a guy who had this tool set and was extremely raw and didn't get a lot of time to put his work in. Like the only comparable I could think of off the top of my head, different sport, would be a Giannis Antetokounmpo. Like he was drafted later in the first round, and he had all these tools. He was big, he was strong, athletic, all these things. But like they weren't sure if he could turn it in. Or like you look at baseball, Aaron Judge. If people knew Aaron Judge could hit like that at 6'7", 260 pounds, whatever he is, he would have been a first round draft pick. Right. So like these different toolsy players. And the thing with Matthews is that because he never had to back check, he never had to play against the other team's best centers, not players, centers, right? He's learning all of this in the NHL at a young age without his full man body against the best players in the world.
Yeah.
What I mean by this is his ceiling, I think, is a lot higher than people think it is.
That's what I like to hear, being a proud owner of some well-graded Matthews rookie cards that have gone up 5x in value since I've gotten them, and only going up, so I love it.
It's easy to say this, and it's kind of bittersweet in a sense. Actually, this guy and the next guy are bittersweet. Matt Sundin for me was an idol, almost in and out of hockey. Like he was my guy growing up. Matthews is by far a better player than him, easily already, and that's saying something because I always thought Sundin was like on a pedestal above every other league. Like maybe like the McGillneys, the whatever guys who came in for a couple of years. Yeah, that's one thing, but like stud guys, that was him. And for me, Matthews has already stepped over that. So it's just like, this guy's a beast. I think the sky's the limit. I'm a tad worried about his shoulder injuries because everyone's going to want to hit him. It's like Lindros, right? You're a big target. People going to want to take you down, right? There's no better way to make a name for yourself than to take Matthews out, right?
Yeah.
It's not the best way to look at it, but if you're that type of player, it's something. So anyways, like that's what I thought Matthews deserved it. I'm excited about the guy. I know I kind of went off on a bit of a tangent there, but I just wanted to get that out because I know a lot of people say like he's so amazing and stuff like that. Just think he might even be better.
Agreed.
So we'll see. I'm excited. I hope he never leaves Toronto, but that's a different conversation. My first star of the week is Jack Campbell, Soup from the Leafs as well. What I was hinting at there with the bittersweet moment is my favorite goalie of all time is Felix Potvin. And he just broke his record for most consecutive games with a win to start your Maple Leaf career.
Yeah.
And that has obviously been held since almost when we were born. So I thought that deserved a shout out. And he looks incredible. I don't know what we're going to get into with the Leafs goalie system in the playoffs. But hey, it looks fantastic right now. He plays a quiet game, and I'm becoming a fan, even though I still really like Freddie.
I always like Campbell. I love him.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't have any Leafs on mine, but my third star of the week goes to the guy who's very, very, very likely at this point now to win Rookie of the Year, Kareli Caprisov. Kareli Caprisov. There you go. Thank you. That's why we keep you around. But anyway, he had 4 goals, 6 points over the past 4 games, and the Wild again. The Wild always seem to sneak into these 3 stars because they always seem to be putting together some good winning streaks, and rightfully so. They're pretty much secured a playoff spot in that division now. Everyone thought it was a 3-team race the whole way, but they had the wrong 3 at this point, with St. Louis really dropping out and Minnesota taking that role now. But a big part of it has to do with this rookie. He's been huge on their power play, and last night is a prime example of how their power play is so successful. They scored 4 power play goals yesterday against Colorado, and he was a big part of it. And just giving him a shout out, I'd be shocked if at this point anyone else catches up and wins Rookie of the Year, considering the year Minnesota's been having.
Yeah, it's kind of like when Panarin came in. When it's just like he played 5 years of pro, I think.
Yeah.
Both of them actually before they jumped in. So like you're not really a rookie. You've been playing 5 years against against men, right?
Yeah. No,
like
that's the one unfair thing about that aspect of it, but it is what it is. Yeah. My second star, and this I think is going to be the first defenseman to ever get outside of the 3 stars outside of the third stars. And I'm giving it, honestly, it was a toss-up between two defensemen. But I went with this guy because he's on a different team than my first star. Jacob Chikrin from the Arizona Coyotes. And I wanted to give the Coyotes a little bit of a shout-out, too, because they've turned it on, and they're sitting pretty right now in the fourth playoff spot in that Western Division, taking it away from St. Louis at this point. And they're getting the job done, even though they blew a game last night. But Chikrin has 7 points in the past 3 games, and including a hat trick himself. So that was one of the guys we were talking about earlier who had a hat trick. And he's had a pretty great season for the Coyotes. He stepped up being that quarterback on the power play and getting the job done. He's probably one of the most underrated, at least at the beginning of the season, who turned out to be somewhat of a solid defenseman for a team. I didn't see it coming personally.
Mm-hmm. And I find it incredible with Arizona, just next man up in net. I mean, first it was Kemper, and it was like, okay, Ranta. I mean, Ranta's a piece of glass, but still. And then now it's Aiden Hill. So, yep. I mean, from an Arizona perspective, theoretically, you could trade both of those goalies for anything that's offered to you, if you're offered anything, and go with Aiden Hill and theoretically be exactly where you were anyways.
Yeah.
So that could cause another interesting aspect. But yeah.
For sure. And that leads me to my first star of the week. It's Artemi Panarin, 11 points in the past 4 games, so almost 3 points a game. The Rangers continuing to win games. They had won 3 out of the past 4 last week and 3 out of the past 4 again this week. So as much as they're still pretty much out of the playoff hunt, they're still alive. Like, they have a chance, and this team is definitely heating up. If you look at their goal differential as a whole, it's definitely positive, which is rare sight for these teams that are out of the playoffs. So if they go on enough of a heater here, they could sneak in. It'd be insane, but they could do it. But Panarin, 11 points, 4 games. I had to give it to him. And just also a shout out to his teammate, Adam Fox. 13 game point streak that man is on, which is pretty insane for a defenseman as well. So that was my other defenseman I wanted to give honorable mention to. And that's it.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.